Are you happy, Sarah?
Rain pattered on the cafe awning. Inside, Mark and Sarah sat facing each other, two steaming mugs untouched between them. A year had passed since their painful breakup, a wound that had barely scarred over.
I don't know, Mark, are you?
The silence stretched between them, thick with unspoken words. They were strangers now, bound by memories they couldn't erase.
I see him everywhere, every song, every corner we turned.
Sarah admitted, her voice choked with emotion. Mark reached out, his fingers brushing against hers. The familiar warmth sent a jolt through them both. Miguel watched them from across the street, a knot of worry tightening in his chest. For 6 months, he had been Sarah's constant companion, her supposed escape from heartbreak. But seeing her with Mark, he saw a connection he couldn't penetrate. Later that night, he held Sarah close, but her thoughts seemed miles away.
What are you thinking about?
He asked softly. Sarah hesitated, then buried her face in his chest.
Nothing important.
She mumbled. Miguel knew she was lying. He saw the way she looked at Mark, the flicker of something lost and found in her eyes. A terrible suspicion began to grow in his heart. Was he just a rebound? A temporary bandage for a love she couldn't forget? Sarah found herself drawn back to the places she and Mark used to share. The park bench where they had their first kiss. The bookstore where he bought her poetry she couldn't understand but pretended to love. One rainy afternoon, she found herself outside Mark's apartment, her heart pounding in her chest. He opened the door, his eyes widening in surprise. The dam of her carefully constructed composure broke.
I still love you, Mark. I tried to forget you, but I can't.
Tears streamed down her face. Mark pulled her inside, his arms closing around her in a familiar embrace. The truth was out in the open, raw and undeniable. Later that week, Sarah met Miguel at their usual cafe. The guilt gnawed at her, but she knew she couldn't live a lie any longer.
Miguel, we need to talk.
She told him everything, her voice cracking with emotion. To her surprise, Miguel simply nodded.
I knew. I saw it in your eyes, the way you looked at him. It's okay, Sarah. I just want you to be happy.
As she walked away from him, the guilt was overshadowed by a profound sense of relief. She had made a mistake, but now she had a chance to correct it. Years later, Sarah stood on a sun-drenched beach, her heart overflowing with happiness. She wore a simple white dress, her hand clasped tightly in Mark's.
Sarah, from the moment I met you, I knew you were the one. We might have taken a detour, but we found our way back to each other.
He got down on one knee, a small velvet box in his hands.
Sarah, will you do me the incredible honor of becoming my wife?
Tears streamed down Sarah's face as she nodded, her voice choked with emotion.
Yes, 1,000 times, yes.
As Mark slipped the ring on her finger, Sarah knew in her heart that first love wasn't just a memory. It was a promise. A promise of a love that could weather any storm.